There's more breaking news that's coming in, and these are eyewitnesses who've spoken to journalists at that Butler rally in Pennsylvania. Several eyewitnesses have come forward and said they actually informed the police about this suspect with an assault rifle, an AR-15, walking up to that place, climbing on top of that single storage structure and lying there spread eagle. In fact, there were some party goers there. Remember, it's the weekend in the United States of America. People were partying in this area. To get inside this rally venue, there were a large number of people who had to go through security barricades. They brought their children along. Families had come to hear the presidential candidate Donald Trump. But outside this perimeter, there were eyewitnesses who've gone on record to say that they called up the police. They gave the police details about this suspect. But according to them, the police did nothing. This question has also been put to the PSP, or the Pennsylvania State Police. Just a short while back, the Pennsylvania Police did a press conference where they've said that all facts are being verified, all facts are being ascertained. Let's listen into some of the responses that are coming before I get back to our reporters on ground.
Stay over here.
He's going down! He's going down!
Stay over here.
He's going down!
Let me once again bring in Lenka White. And Lenka White, this does raise some very uncomfortable questions when eyewitnesses come on record to say they'd seen the suspect, they informed the police, and yet the suspect was able to target the US presidential candidate who's actually a Secret Service protectee.
It is very strange. It's definitely questionable how this all could go downhill, and let us all also remind ourselves that one person died and two are seriously injured, and these people just probably wanted to go out and have a nice afternoon, support their presidential candidate. It's always a very friendly atmosphere at his rallies, so it's a tragic event. And thank God the former president is still alive. He could have, perished. So it's a shocking event. And we always hear about these stories in third world countries, but here we are in the United States, yet this can happen. We could also think of Robert Kennedy's father and his uncle who were shot, actually. So Robert Kennedy has been requesting stronger security services for his team, and he has not gotten that. So I wonder if this will trigger a wave of higher security services. How is Australia going to Trump will be doing his rallies in the future? Will he do it only inside, or will he still be brave enough to go out there and make sure everything is secure? It is very shocking, and I can only imagine how his family feels after that. They must be all a target.
Well, you're absolutely right, but it's not just about the third world. America's had a long history of assassinations of presidents and presidential candidates, right from Abraham Lincoln to John F. Kennedy, to an attempt on Ronald Reagan, Shashank Mattu. So America's dealt with it extensively. In case of Ronald Reagan, of course, the Secret Service once again formed a perimeter wall around him. He survived the assassination attempt. As with Donald Trump, he survived the assassination attempt. But the role of the deep state, Shashank, remains suspect. The Republicans have gone on record and expressed their apprehensions.
Yes, absolutely, you're right. And look, what we've already seen is two very prominent US politicians, J.D. Vance, Tim Scott, two senators, both of whom are speculated to be in line to be Trump's vice president, coming out and actually blaming Joe Biden and his administration for what has happened. So, of course, you see already on social media this sort of speculation. Of course, there is of course a lot of blowback to these comments as well, saying that, look, we don't know enough at this point in time. You also see that across the political spectrum, people have come across to condemn this attack. I think the much more pertinent question to ask, definitely, but the idea even that we're having conversations about the deep state, you're having conversations about is there an organized conspiracy, just shows how deeply divided U.S. politics is at this point in time, where a president is assassinated and instead of the country coming together, you're seeing increased divisions in society. You have two senators coming out and blaming the incumbent president for having carried out orchestrated assassination, and that is different. You're right that America has had a very long history of presidential assassinations. About 3 to 4 presidents have been assassinated in its past. But you generally see the country come together. This is completely different. This is where you see a complete divide opening up in society, with supporters of Donald Trump saying that this is an organized conspiracy against the president. They want to silence him. And the other side, at this point in time, is also pointing in some sense to Donald Trump's reaction when Speaker Nancy Pelosi, her husband, was attacked in a home invasion, and Trump apparently laughed at that. So you can see just the divides that are happening. People are making statements, but the partisan fights that are unfolding all across America right now, I think that is the really devastating and worrying thing at this point in time, more than conversations about deep state, which will have to be investigated.
It indeed will be, and more information coming in. So the presidential candidate, the Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump, the front runner, he insists he will carry through with all the political events scheduled for the rest of the day tomorrow. And of course, the Republican National Convention that takes place in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where he's going to be officially nominated and will perhaps also announce his vice presidential candidate. So that's one part of the story. The U.S. president right now, Joe Biden, we are told, is rushing back to the White House. He is likely to address the nation either later tonight or early tomorrow, where he'll give more details. He'll share more details about investigations that have been carried out so far. He's learned to have spoken to Donald Trump. He initially tried to reach out to him at the hospital. Then there are reports that they've already spoken. Additional security, news that's just coming in, additional security is being provided not just to Donald Trump, but also to the convention that's taking place at Wisconsin, at Milwaukee, and at Trump Towers in New York. Additional security, additional police forces have already been deployed in these areas. Donald Trump's security detail and his administration had sought additional security for the presidential candidate. There was an apprehension that he could be targeted, that there could be an assassination attempt. I once again want to get back to Lenka White for more on this. Lenka White, what more can you tell us about, one, additional security being provided at Trump Towers, I believe also at Wisconsin, and two, the conversation between Joe Biden and Donald Trump?
I have definitely been in the past at the Trump Tower. It always was a sort of moderately secure place. You saw about 2-3 guards standing outside, 2-3 guards standing inside in various locations. Nothing stressful, nothing extreme. You could walk in, take a coffee, have a dinner. There is a restaurant. So it was rather casually secure, I would say. But from the footage we are seeing right now, there is actually several security officers standing outside watching what is happening in front of the tower. I suppose they might have also people inside. No idea if they closed it down and if they will open it tomorrow. I suppose yes, but it will probably be highly watched. In terms of the conversation between Biden and Trump, President Biden, after it all happened, he said that he wants to talk to Trump this evening. What was surprising is that he actually called him Donald Trump, which
Yes.
some analysts saw as a historic moment, sort of not calling him a felon, not calling him some other bad names he sometimes uses, but he called him by his first name and last name, which is a big step forward. But following that, they actually did speak in the evening, this evening. Hard to say what they spoke about and how, former President Trump felt about it, given that he probably is going to blame him for what happened. But apparently they had a phone call. So it still remains to be seen what they spoke about, but that's the latest update on their communication.